Aloha. Uh, Today I wanted to expand upon parasites and split the word in half and just see how the entire definition of that space is not necessarily a thing or a bug or one certain definition or something. It's actually it can be a state of mind. It could be a chemical. It could be um, a thought. A parasite could be an emotional experience. It could be an attachment. It can be whatever it is that is um, splitting your sight and splitting your experience from yourself and creating a side of your vision. So, like, you're a side of yourself. Um, if you are subject to a parasite, like so, and it that split vision creates a space that allows openings for other energies to inhabit the space that was once balanced but is now split and um, vulnerable after that space. So I was gonna look at the ocean book, um, but this book was here, so it was perfect for this. But the main thing I wanted to focus on was or at least just start out with, is the idea of thought forms, psychology, um, information, uh, different versions of culture and perspective that get put out there that are seen as um, everyday or mainstream or cool, but a lot of the times they're really set up to be a parasitic experience. So, like the thought form of limitation and self-destruction and war, and the prison industrial complex and the military industrial complex and racism, um, white supremacy still alive and thriving, just even more under the wraps now. Um, so much so that it's within the culture, that parasite perspective. It is magic. It is really a magic that gets into your space and creates a flip. Yeah, it's a lifestyle. There's bodies. There's it's everywhere. I want to go see what that is actually saying though. Yeah, this it's a the deepest threads of parasitism or that are alive today are the ones we can't even see right now. The mainstream itself is a parasite. Fast food and what it does to the addictive cells and like the addictive experience, how that interacts with addiction in the human experience and kids and emotions and how everything is intertwined. It kind of like attaches these definitions very easily. You can see all of these things that are very easily connected, but just mixed up and separate from our eyes, but our subconscious eyes are very aware and engaged in this magic that is intended to be put out there as a parasite. So turn this down a little bit. Yeah. So the space of creating ideas that leech onto a brain or a mind and reproduce themselves within the individual's experience. That's a giant parasite. That's a nationwide parasite. Hot dogs are parasites. Bacon is a parasite. Bacon, bacon. It's crazy. It's fucking ridiculous how we don't look in the microscopic and macroscopic versions, and we only get stuck in a little version of this experience. We kind of just sit here happily ill-informed. I'm speaking from my own feeling, my own expressive feeling from when I, let's say, 8 years ago or however many years ago. It was just that space of going and eating fast food every day, but in a human experience, like, oh yeah, I literally used to do that, and breakfast, lunch, and dinner sometimes, and this body survived through all of that leeching, that disgusting, because those threads that go through your brain through commercials. You're constantly bombarded with the idea of buying something, eating something, getting insurance itself, doing whatever it is that you got to do, based upon an illusion that has been constantly flickerated in your face to create an attachment. And these attachments, these parasitic attachments, come pre-installed with like judgments and guilt, the guilt complex, military industrial complex, prison industrial complex, all of these little things that we call little things, the commercials, the television shows, even the way they're designed, the judges, what judgment is, the Supreme Court, like all of these little so-called little and separate threads are very attached. And if we were to take a moment, like if we were all just to sit around at a round table somewhere and then in a park and just talk about like how one thing, like how politics can be seen from a parasitic perspective, how culture, mainstream culture today can be seen from a parasitic perspective, and then how that can this is a fucking disgusting book. All these oh yeah, making my stomach churn just talking about this. So yeah, maybe somebody else is liking it. Yeah, these are all experiences, moments in time to where the collective, the individual is reflecting a part of the collective experience. Like this, the tiny parasites that we see that are within people's homes or thought patterns are directly related to the parasitic thought patterns that are within the entire planet, the global perspective. Like it's all throughout us, the system. But yeah, I don't have to expand on it any more than that. I think I'm gonna cut this one short right here, and just end with the parasitism that I just realized from this book. This is pretty and even way more detailed scientifically and biologically than I was prepared to expand upon. But the point got across, which was how parasites is It can affect our entire experience. It can be a chunk of time. It's ultimately a choice to engage in a space and anchor a reality um, for a certain balance of experience. Because a lot of the times we don't even want to see what the other alternatives were when we get approached with experiences like a parasite experience. So the parasite experience, um, it really is a hitchhiker for on time. So we can see like the leaders, the so-called leaders of this country, or in politics and all that, and how thought patterns get into the space of minds and create an illusory thought pattern parasite that we send down to our children. And it's really about getting on the outside, on the outskirts of everything. That's where the parasites stay. They stay on the outskirts of these balances, these harmonies. So these harmonic patterns like this are they're balanced in a space that they protect themselves. They have an energy that a lot of the times is impenetrable. It doesn't even really exist in a space where parasites. We're kind of bringing these energies into this space so we can work with what parasites like copper works with, bringing parasites out of the body, like sucking like crystals, energetically sucking this stuff out of your body, like working with the harmonics of your your natural frequency and activating that process of grounding, anchoring, and clearing, harmonizing ultimately the spin. Because everything is spin. Everything is spin. Now that's what I kept missing earlier. It was the spin. So everything is spin. And what parasites do is they get in there and then they just start like jacking up your spin. So everything, a thought pattern is a spin. A good feeling is a spin. Food is a spin. You can see how bad food can spin up your stomach. And good food can do something good for your stomach. Like you can feel that spin. Everything is a spiral. So when we spiral our experience straight from birth, we have a harmonic going that hasn't been tampered with. So when we when we come through this experience and we keep spiraling into this world, that's when we lose touch with our dreams. That's when we lose touch with our soul work, and we start to get into a physical reality perspective. So that soul work gets put to the side, and we start to open ourselves up to a parasitic experience because we've separated ourselves so much from the center, from the source, from ourselves. So, oh man, yeah, we get beside ourselves, and our eyes, they get beside themselves and start to focus upon heavier experiences. And then that's when a lot of the weight starts to materialize on the bodies. And we carry a lot more because we're so vested in this physical experience that we carry it around with us. The thought process, the thought patterns, the parasitic thought patterns materialize in our bodies. So there's a balance of dematerializing the body along with the thought patterns and the emotional body and the ego, all balanced, all harmonized together. Because if we start losing a lot of weight and we don't work on our emotional body and we don't work on our ego and we don't pay attention to a lot of other things, that can throw off the entire balance, the entire harmonics that you have for yourself. So I'm glad I took a moment to slow down and really expand upon that, which is the balancing of all that's shifting, all that's changing with everybody. Um, it's good to take a moment and see uh, the various layers of shift that's going on right now, and versions of our perspectives that are all shifting, opening, clearing, anchoring, going deeper into these spaces. Um, yeah. So spin, everything being harmonic, everything being a spiral, and these parasites, you got to work on spinning that stuff, harmonizing your spin, and you'll be able to release all of these parasitic thought patterns and experiences and moments. So thank you for joining me. And until next time, peace, love, and harmony.